And welcome back to the Fake Friends podcast. We are on episode 20, 20th anniversary episode of our short-lived podcast. We got a special one for you today. You know why we're here. You know what we came to do. What's going on?
Yeah. It was month 4. When we started, this October? I think October.
I don't know.
But yeah, it feels good. 20. That's
I don't know.
I know I'm pretty sure it was October because when did Donda and Certified Lover Boy drop? We did one shortly after that, and I know we did one before that, and I think that was October. But 20. Still elusive, still traveling. We're here. Yeah, man. You know what's up? A little later than usual. Sun's down.
Yep. My work schedule changed a little bit, so now I'm up later than I normally am. I go to bed.
That's all right. You howling at the moon. You know, hanging with the wolves.
I was a cold dude now, getting back to my ways, and yeah, it feels good, dude. I like this. This late night little fucking chop it up. It's quiet, not a lot of noise going on. And what did I want to say? I wanted to say something smart. Episode. When did we start this? A few months ago, and it's been fun just talking it up. We definitely want to dedicate this episode to our new single we just released last Friday, the 7th, called "Elusive Traveler," which is the. I know there's like a fancy word for when you name a title of a song that is the same title as the album. But what's the word for that? Self-titled
song. Self-titled? Self-titled track. Yeah.
Self-titled track, yeah. So
yeah, something like that.
Elusive Traveler, the lead single, Elusive Traveler. And some might say, well, what the fuck does that mean? What are you guys, fucking weirdos? But now, so like, damn, I'd have to, let me look at the, can I leave Zoom without you losing the video? Yeah, here we go.
Maybe, yeah.
Still see me?
Yeah, why you look, why is my dad's blowing me up? Watch this second real quick.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, hang on. No, he hung up. Never mind. Maybe he'll call me back. Yeah, honestly, how to define elusive traveler.
Now I want to date the session real quick. So the first beat was made on December. So it's over. It's 13 months old. December 13th. Oh wow, 2 years. Holy shit! No wait.
Oh, here we go.
All right, hold on.
Hey, what's up? Did she hang up? Hey, let me call you back. I'm on my podcast. Let me call you back.
I'm gonna tell you why, Stephen.
Let me call you right back. Hang on. Let me call you right back.
All right.
Wait, you said he was gonna kick someone's ass? What'd he say?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's get it. I'm in.
I don't know what he's got going on.
So the track was started on December 13th, 2020. I was listening to the new Cudi album at the time, Man on the Moon 1000, was it 3? And I was just sitting here like, man, this got a cool groove. And I was like, you know what? There's something about this motion right here that just needs to be made.
Yeah, I
was in this motion right here. So I was like, all right, I'm feeling this. So I just made, with that in mind, I played some chords, played this little simple little riff, had that rhythm in mind. And then I was just kind of thinking, I was like, man, I just want to say something cool and different. And this just sounds different. So I was just thinking, about the hook, because the hook's not normal in terms of what you normally hear for hooks. So I was just trying to be creative and was thinking like, not to define the interpretation of the record, but I was just kind of thinking like, well, how could I, describe knowledge or wisdom being passed on through like the years in a cool way, like kind of like storytelling. So the idea was just kind of like storytelling, like, you know, truth or like wisdom or whatever, just ideas, and just say it in a cool way, and just kind of like having like a, I guess like a knowledge of like, like, I don't know, just like a higher knowledge of self or something.
Self.
Yeah.
Self.
In all honesty. And that's why it's just kind of like, that's why the bar, you know, lower vibes can't yield this sale, taking sips from the holy grail. You're like, you gotta have this like this mind state to be able to touch, you know, what we're doing. You know what I mean? Not saying, you know, we're better than anyone, but just in terms of like the wavelength, you know, it's just like, it's a state of mind, like Elusive Traveler, it's a state of mind, you know? So I guess that's kind of like,
I kind of correlated to like some self-awareness, you know?
Yeah.
Very, 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 very aware of who you are and who you're not, more than anything. Honestly, I think identifying that is kind of what Elusive Traveler, you know, represents. It's just, I am not what I'm not because I understand what I am. And, you know, kind of directly, the songwriting definitely depicts that. And then you add in, you know, a lovely drum cadence. You add in, you know, a great tempo, and it makes you want to nod your head. It feels good. It sounds really good. And I think it just fully embodies, you know, like I said, self-awareness to the point in a time where I think self-awareness is very devalued, where people, you know, in a general sense, don't really care to know who they are as long as they feel like they fit in. It doesn't really matter if they know who they are. And Elusive Traveler is just that, you know, elusive in the word in itself is somebody like, you know, I always correlate like elusive to like Barry Sanders, you know, like there could be, you know, what is it, 11 guys on a football field? I mean, and he makes every one of them miss without anybody blocking for him. And so, you know, it's kind of like you always know where you're going. You do. Nobody else has to understand it, but you know where you're going. And so that elusive part is really, really, really important when you add it with the Traveler, because you're constantly moving. You're never stagnant. You're never still. You're never in one place, because I think that's really the epitome of growth, honestly. And being elusive while doing that means you have control over that destiny, you know, over that path. And I think it's just a great record. It's a great record. Feels good. Sounds good. It's very creative. Kind of like almost everything that we do, because we have found this creative space where we just make what we want to make. Yeah. And I'm glad you dated it too, because it's like, you know, I'd say the process for creating, there's some records that we definitely made, pumped out, created like within a month, maybe 2 weeks, 3 days, you know, a week or so. But a lot of times, you know, when you put in substance and context behind creativity, it takes time. And so I know we sat on this record for over a year and finally put it out.
Well, yeah, I remember.
Time is right.
I made the record with kind of like some just, you know, something in mind, not knowing where it was going to go. And I just knew I had like a hook that just sounded cool. I was like, I know no one would use this. Like, oh, I'm not playing this demo for anyone. Like, you know, if we were in a room, yeah, obviously I wouldn't be afraid to play it, but someone was like, well, where's like the bitches and the money? You know, we need the hooks like that, man. Come on, club stuff. And, but not like, I remember you heard it and you're like, yo, that's dope because of the beat. Like, this beat knocks. And at the time, just had like a demo mix on it. Like, it sounded good, but it just kind of get like a space to feel like where, you know, where the final mix would go. You're like, no, this shit slaps and it's just grooving. You're like, I'm going to write something to it. I was like, all right, cool. And then eventually when you did, I don't know exactly when you did, we have to look at the files, but yeah, you sent back and I was just like, you sent me like 8 bars over the phone. I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh yeah. Like,
yeah, that's where this is going.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. That's what we doing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, and, and then you sent me the full thing and I was like, well, fuck, I'm doing something. I'll tell you that right now. I'm doing something, you know? And that's kind of how it came about. And I fuck with it. And if you don't like it, that's cool too. You don't have to like anything. You can like whatever you like. And it is. It's a cool record. And what I like about it most is it has that vibe of like this new, like the new style of rap, like, because it's a hip hop rap record, like that new style, but it also has like, I feel like it has that like grittiness feel that like the 90s and 2000s had. You know what I mean? Like there's just something like gritty about it, but at the same time, not, if that makes sense, because there's singing on it, there's rapping on it. You know what I mean? It's a really cool.
It's very gritty. Yeah, it's very gritty. And I think
mean,
when I sent it back to you, I was like, ad-libbing and auto-tune and singing on the ad-libs. I was like, I don't know if you can do that or not, but honestly, you can do whatever you want. But the bars are just very in your face. The delivery is very, very in your face. It's to me, it's very, very, what's the word I should use? Sure. Like it's very sure, very confident. It's very, like I said, it's very sure of self and confident. And you can hear it in the delivery, you hear it in the bars. It's kind of like, and I think one of the bars that's in there is it might be an arrogance to it, but the grass is always greener wherever I go. It's kind of like, and really the meaning behind that is like you control how green your grass is.
Right.
Because wherever you go, the grass is only going to be green predicated on how you water it.
Right.
And so like, if it's not green where you're at, you can either choose to water it where you're at, or you can choose to go find some new grass and water that grass. So that's why it's like, kind of having an understanding is important. And the record, from first listen, it might not embody, you might not even grasp the substance there because the drum is too heavy. Like the drums are great, it just rocks.
Yeah, and they might not pay attention because
it might, because the record just rocks.
Yeah,
like you're not,
the dumber.
It might take a few listens, but I think that kind of embodies a great record, honestly. So
the dumb love drum, man.
Yeah. I will say one of my favorite lines on that record is your first two bars, but then I think you said 93 million miles of treason.
Well, hold on. Before we get there, I do want to say no. Actually, no, because I'm going to go.
That is a great bar.
Yeah, a lot of unpack there.
Because I think that's the number, the distance between the Earth and the sun.
That's right.
Supposedly. Right? Supposedly, if you believe that the sun exists, if you believe that space exists, notice I said if you believe, because it's all predicated on what you believe. But it's a great bar just because, like I said, I think it just opens up the mind for you to kind of like think what everything you've been told isn't always facts. And sometimes you're just told not to even question whether it's fact or not, but there's nothing wrong with questioning. It doesn't even mean it's not a fact, but you can still question facts. And I think that bar kind of embodies that to the point where it's kind of like, you're just told to believe things. Without questioning it. I mean, nobody walks around and just questions the fact that the sun's 93 million miles away from the Earth. They're just like, yeah, it is, because that's what I guess the smart people said.
So
and that bar just kind of embodies like, hey, maybe that's not the fact.
Yeah, no, I do like that. 93 million miles of lies, man, is treason. Is it gangster? Because, well, first off, a little background, like my verse has like a few head nods to some like Wu-Tang, with that little like 4-bar section from the song Triumph, little tip of the nod from Master Killer's verse saying the dumb love the drum, shit like that. And then I want to say it's Ghostface's verse on that same record where he mentions, again, everyone, like you go and look up what the stats are of the distance from Earth to the sun, it's going to say 93 million miles, but I mean, not really many people are using that in songs. And the most popular verse I know is Ghostface from that. And he mentions that at the end of his verse too. So I was like kind of thinking like, oh, I'm in this mind. Like this song gives me this like Kid Cudi Wu-Tang vibe. So I want to like embody that. I was like, I got to find a way to do that. And I was thinking, oh, that would be cool to, throw that in question. Like, they say it's this, but I'm going to say it's a lie. Like, 93 million miles. And the reason why I use it as distance to say it's treason, like the lies of treason, because there's so many lies, and that's about
exactly.
That's like the distance, and it's true, you know what I mean? So it's cool.
Yeah.
And there is another point. it's interesting. It's interesting the fact they use that number as well, because it does relate to Aleister Crowley in a way, and I forget how. It has something to do with his theology or something like that, but the number 93 is specific to something in his world, and I forget. It sucks. I hate bringing something up that I can't nail on the head, but it does have some occultness to it, which of course it does. Everything does.
Everything
Because,
does.
Yep, the world's pretty much ran by people like Doctor Strange. And yeah, but no, that is a cool little thing that that's just kind of said. It's like it's a bar, if you're listening, it's cool. And then, but getting back to like the beginning of the way that verse starts off is there's a bar I say, I am that I am, these words will set you free. Before I describe why I said that, it's so interesting. Ever since I heard the song by John Bellion, Stupid Deep, which is probably one of the most realist songs I've ever listened to, ever. Like the songwriting is so...
Well, that's because John Bellion's probably one of the realest people, realest artists.
So real, and it's just so... has so much humility, and it's just like really... It's some deep shit, stupid deep. Like, and he says the words... And I knew the one who like I knew the song was dope, but you even like said it. Like when I heard you say it, you're like, yo, that Stupid Deep record, man. Like you made a point about it. And then I went back again and was like, yeah, fuck. But he says the words like, what if who I hope to be was always me?
Was always me.
That is the realest thing you could ever like really say and accept. But if you kind of like, when you start to kind of study, cultures and certain like, I don't want to say religions, but like faiths and just certain like, I don't know, maybe religions or, things like that. That's like a theme, you are what you already want to be. You're everything. You're already it. You just have to accept it. So I was reading this book called The Moses Code. And apparently you should be very mindful of words you follow with after you use the words I am. A lot of people like to say negative things when they go, oh, I am like an idiot, or I am stupid, or I'm this. And they don't realize how they are pulling that negative energy to them. And like, now you're becoming. And it's, again, a lot of people write that off like, oh, dude, that's some woo-woo shit. That's like, nah, man, like, I get it. Like, if you haven't had a moment to understand like how fucking special, the world is and how unique it is, and study cultures. Well,
not to cut you off, words are just powerful in themselves. And so like what you speak is
it's almost like sorcery. Well, words are like magic. So with that in mind, when you so like the phrase I am, is story goes, it does relate to like Moses when he spoke to God, like that's how he responded. I'm here, like I am. And it's this conversation he had with God, and it's God's name. Along with that, it's a great book. You should read it. But basically, when you use the phrase "I am that I am," you can attract which you are. So if you say like "I am that happiness I am," and you embody that, you are happy. It's almost like it's in a way, it's almost like a meditation. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of power in that. Yeah, a lot of power. Like I said, a lot of power in words to the point.
So I was just listening to this song. I'm like, what? That'd be a cool bar to put in there. Like, even if it doesn't rhyme, just say like, I am that I am. These words will set you free. And if you know, you know. Like, if you know, you know. So if you don't know, you might hear that and just be like, oh, whatever. And if it's someone that knows the power in that phrase and those words, you might be like, damn, that's fucking dope. That's fucking dope, And if you listen to this, now you know that's a powerful phrase.
That's again why I said I think the record just fully embodies like a self-awareness, a knowledge of self, which I think, and maybe it's just because of where we're at in life in terms of our age, and like I think it'd be unfair to expect an adolescent to really know who they are. Like they haven't lived. I don't think they've experienced enough in life to kind of figure that part out. But I think as you go through, you gain experiences and you decide who you are going to be, whether that's subconsciously or unconsciously. Some people kind of don't even, don't understand that they've made decisions that define who they are. Some people understand it. Some people never want to hold themselves accountable. Some people would just, the ignorance to it is kind of bliss, I guess, to the point where it's like, I don't want to know. But I think that just embodies self-awareness and knowing who you are, accepting that, good and bad, because it's not like knowing who you are is all just all great and positive. Sometimes there's some negatives in there because nobody's perfect, so but you still got to embrace that aspect of it. And I think that, again, that bar kind of just embodies it completely to the point where it's like again, you're everything that you're not, what you are not, because you know who and everything that you are.
No, like seriously, like people don't, dude. And it's so crazy. Like it's such powerful wisdom. You'll hear this all the time. Someone will say, oh, I can't do this because of this. Oh, I want to be that, but I can't. They start saying all these things that no one else is saying to them. They're saying to themselves. And all you have to do to that person is say, well, wait a minute. Why can't you? In this case, we'll just say like a musician. Why can't you be a musician? Well, because no one knows who I am. Would you make music? Yeah. Then you're a musician. You're already it. You're just because you don't have a super big following or fan base doesn't mean you're not a musician. If you successfully put out music, you have an idea, you track and record it and put it out, you're a fucking successful musician. Now if you're not getting the the money income from to support yourself, and that's what you define your success on, which is understandable. It's a slow growth to get there. It's not going to happen overnight, but you can attain it by accepting that you are a musician. You are, that artist you see on TV. You're already that. You just have to accept it and it will come. You know what I mean? And that's a mind state. And a lot of times people they don't understand that. That makes sense. You're not taught that. Like all the important shit, you're not fucking taught. You know what I mean? Like everything I've learned up until now that I've learned on my own.
Hang on. Water break. Apparently, so this funny story. My daughter has her own iPod because it operates as a phone. And when my dad called me earlier, he said that I needed to go get my daughter in trouble. I don't know what she said to her grandpa on the phone. He's looking at me on her phone. You in trouble with grandpa right now? You in trouble with grandpa? Why are you shaking your head? It sounds like grandpa said me too. Tell grandpa I just turned 30 years old. I don't think I can get in trouble no more. Go talk to your mama. All right, resume.
But yeah, no, it's which is what I was saying is it's just it's powerful. Like a lot of people you're not taught like these things that, like, I don't know, maybe you're not supposed to, maybe you have to discover yourself, but it's just the power of the mind, just having the right mind state to want to even attempt something. I don't know. It's just interesting. And
I do. You're right about that. I do think I don't know if it's intentional or indirect, but I don't think you're taught to kind of fully understand yourself because, think about that on a larger scale. Everyone's more self-aware, self-empowered. There's no control. Like, there's no control.
Yeah, people vibrating at a high level, like you can't tell them what to do.
And now, granted, you can have a few slip through the cracks to figure it out because, and honestly, those are the ones that deem to be sometimes, I think, special or unique or individuals. But if everybody had that enlightenment upon them in a sense where, hey, I can think for myself. I don't need other people to tell me what to think, or I don't seek that, but they were aware that was the case. I think you would see, not just in this country, I think you would see a different world as a whole. Look at, and even from the outside looking in other countries, a lot of things that operate, outside of our country, that's supposed to be the most powerful, free country in the world. A lot of it has to do with controlling the citizens of that country through, just mental gymnastics and mind tricks, basically, in terms of beliefs. Like, so imagine if the majority have the ability to understand who they are, think for themselves, to the extent of decision making itself, I think you would see a different world. And I don't even know if it's for the better. I'm not here to say that that's for the better. Maybe that's, I do think there is like structure is necessary, right? Organization is necessary for sure. I think it's an ever growing, ever evolving process of what the right way to, kind of organize human beings in a sense. And people are just, on a day-to-day basis figuring it out. Because you're right. I don't think you're not taught that from 5 years old. You're taught to open it. You're taught to basically, follow the structure, line up. Like there isn't a hey, think for yourself class even. Like in a sense to where it's like, hey, you don't have to believe everything you're told. You don't have to even do everything you're told without question. It's not taught that way. It's not even perceived that way. It's not presented that way. It's kind of presented in the sense like, hey, there's certain things that you can't question. Just don't question.
Right. And if you do, you're crazy.
And if you do, you're crazy. You're a rebel. You're out of line. You're wrong. So yeah.
It's like, I mean, the point of like the bar about the distance of the sun. It's like, all right, well, again, I'm not trying to sit here to tell people how to do whatever, but if you were never told, first of all, actually, majority of people probably don't even know what the distance between here and the sun is. But if you didn't know that and you were just told to look in the sky and guess how far away it was, a lot of people,
you're going to say 93 million miles?
No, they're not. Matter of fact, I'll just say someone might thinking because they're having this idea of space, they might say, oh, maybe it's like in the million miles range.
A million, yeah.
I doubt. I feel like it's a false percentage. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are going to look, and I was just like, hey, now you present it like this. Hey, with your eyes, what you can see in terms of distance, like you stand on a cliff or a hill and you're able to see like out into the distance. And you're like, oh, I can see the city from here. It's miles. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking miles, just in distance. And then you look at the sun. How far would you say it is? Probably a lot of people would say a couple hundred to maybe 1,000. In all honesty, it looks like it's right over your fucking head. And the sun and the light hits you instantly. So it's just like, it's also like one of those bars too, to kind of be like, if you understand that's what it was talking about, the distance of the sun, you might be like, I don't know. I'm not saying I have the answer. I'm just saying it's an interesting observation that I don't understand why,
That's important too, because that's important there. And especially in the current climate. I just think like when anyone takes an opposing stance upon something that the majority don't, it's almost as if they're deemed to be like, well, it's wrong. And it's not that. Like the sun, for example, the sun could be 93 million miles away. Mm-hmm. That could be the case. But the fact that you're like you said, being crazy or a lunatic, basically, for even thinking that it's not.
Why would you think that, bro? What are you, an idiot? You didn't go to school? You didn't go to high school?
Like you can't. The fact that you, I think that there's a fact that you can't question certain things should cause concern.
Yeah.
And I think that's for me. And this is recent. I can't say that it's like 17, 16, 13, 20, 21, even 22, 23, 20, that I was thinking in a sense of, hey, everything that I was told might not be actual fact. I think, it comes with growth, and to the point where it's like, you reach a point in life where I think you either decide again to just think for yourself. And when you start to do that, you question certain things. You just question. Doesn't mean that you oppose the actual information. Doesn't mean that you even have an alternative answer. You just simply question, because
in a karate
there's nothing wrong. Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with questioning. And right now we kind of live in a climate, at least in this country. I know other countries you even further punished for raising questions. But like right now, the climate that we live in this country is if you question certain things, my favorite one, you're either a racist, you're a crazy person, you're bipolar, you're a lunatic, you're a far right Donald Trump supporter, you're a white supremacist, you're everything under the sun if you question the wrong things.
Real quick, let me say this, and then I gotta step away for a split second, and then you can run with this. One thing I notice and I don't like about this, you mentioned it, if you do something that is out the ordinary or seems crazy, like you do something spur of the moment, or you just do something that's not considered I don't want to say accepted in society, but just something just out the ordinary and just kind of like out there, like not afraid of being, like not trying to like get attention, but you just do something or say something. People, their first reaction is, "Oh, they like okay? Are they mentally ill?" Like, are they all right? And it's like, whoa. So you're telling me a state of non-mentally ill is just accepting what everyone else is thinking. If you go against that, you could be considered mentally ill. That's that statement. That's insane, dude. That's insane. Like that's
concerning. That's concerning.
That's very scary. Hold on one second. I gotta step away.
That's concerning. Oh, good. No, my wife just got home with tacos.
Yo.
Yeah, we back.
All right. Is everything?
No, we
good?
back. I was saying my wife just got home with tacos. So pardon me, I'll be muting myself. Like I said, we're a little later than usual dinner time around here.
You didn't stop the recording, did you?
No, I didn't. We're still running.
Okay. That's all good. Did you comment off of what I just said?
Yeah, I was saying I think that's very concerning that you can't, like you said, the minute that somebody, even if not if it's just like a sporadic action, if it's if it's a question, if you just like, oppose a certain thought or perspective, you're like, hey, why would you even think that? Are you mentally okay? And
yeah, which blows my mind because I'm like, no,
that's concerning.
You're putting me in the same category as people who fucking hurt kids. Okay, that's mentally ill. Okay, that's mentally ill. Questioning things and having my own thoughts and opinions is not mentally ill. Okay, and honestly, this whole notion of like people who have anxiety, depression, all this shit, like whether you want to say bipolar or schizophrenic, like any of that shit, and that gets deemed mentally ill, I think's fucking wrong too. I don't think that's mental. I think, bro, honestly, mental illness is a fucking lie. You don't know what mental illness, quote unquote, is. I understand schizophrenia is a whole other world because you're dealing with a lot of fucking shit. A lot of fucking shit when it comes to who knows? Maybe those people are tapping into some fucking other worldly shit. I don't fucking know, man. Maybe they got some great method. I don't fucking know. But obviously something ain't ticking right in their brain. I don't think they're like mentally ill though. Like, because when you have depression, anxiety, stress, those are signs to make a change. You know what I'm saying? Like those are things you feel because of your terrain, things in your life, not because, I understand chemical imbalances in the brain exist, like dopamine levels affect certain shit, but there's ways to bring that dopamine back. You don't have to take meds. I understand a med can help as a crutch to get you back to where you need to be. Understand that. But there's a notion to where it's almost like people accept that we need to pretty much assume everyone's mentally ill and everyone should be taking meds to like soften their shit they're going through, instead of just being like, oh, I need to make a change. I need to turn off certain things I'm digesting into my brain and you know, make a healthier life choice. Not even talking food, but like from what you digest, because all that shit that makes your brain get like unwired, so to speak, is what you're digesting, you know, like information
that you're processing,
TV shit,
you know,
paying attention to shit in society. Like, dude, when you step away, if you turn everything off for a time, maybe say, I think you always said 72 hours, but if you turn shit off for like 3-5 days and you're able to step away and then come back and just observe social media and our society from like the outside looking in, everything, we're bombarded with negativity everywhere. Like
constantly
negativity. Yeah. Nothing positive.
Well, I wanted to comment on kind of your mental statement, because, you know, and maybe I don't know, actually, I kind of correlated to, you know, the way, like your upbringing, I guess, in terms of how you were raised and how you were taught to deal with and handle, I think, adversity in a sense, because I think adversity is like the foundation for when a discouraged state starts to set in. And I think discouragement kind of leads to this depressed state where, you know, it's okay to like be disappointed about something when something happens in life. But the minute that you start to become discouraged, I think that's when you start to physically, emotionally lose, you know, the effort and the ambition to further pursue whatever the case may be. And I think adversity is like the number one cause of triggering that. And so how you're taught to deal with adversity, I think, is kind of your foundation for how depression even exists to the extent. And that's not to say that like it's not a thing or it's not a real case. I think, you know, life's not easy. Like, you know, life's not easy. You know, I say that in a sense like
in winter in the Northeast isn't easy too. You come live here year round. January, March, you're like, yo, fuck this shit. I'm like,
but I mean, I can't say that I've had the hardest life. And I'm sure that people have gone through some really, really tough times in life that have caused them to see some very, very low points and dark moments. And I can't say that I would know how to deal with other people's experiences, you know, and to the extent to the point where I think depression is a real thing. That's something that people experience in a point where there is no hope in their life, basically.
Right. Hopeless. That's a bad.
Yeah, it's very, very isolated place to be in. I think it just starts with, you know, how you are either taught or how you develop tactics to handle adversity in life. You either, you know, you can simplify it, but I think sometimes simplifying things comes off as insensitive. And that's not the case here. I think like if you simplify the fact that, hey, you know, life's not fair, life is tough, you choose to either stay down or get back up. Sure, simplify it, but that can come off very insensitive to somebody who, for an extreme case, say a 12-year-old who loses their mom. And you know what I mean? Like that, like there's some extreme cases out there for people to just technically get back up. And I think that'd be really unfair to say. So it's a slippery slope sometimes, because like you said, it's the mental ill part for somebody who just is simply choosing to operate differently than the majority. I think it's unfair to that individual. Because just because you choose not to follow the majority, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you mentally.
Right. And because the real mental illness is not people who suffer from, you know, a phase or a time, because that's what it is. It's not permanent.
Yeah.
Phase or a time of depression, sadness, anxiety, or whatever it may be, like a bipolar state or whatever. It's people who do the same thing day and day, get the same result, and expect something different. That's mental illness. And right now, we are witnessing a lot of people insanity. So, you know, yeah, not to get off that topic, but yeah, just comment. That's all.
Excuse me, these tacos are phenomenal, by the way.
Gotta eat tacos, dude. I'm hot. Yeah, my eating schedule's.
You ever had suadero? Suadero meat? Is that how you pronounce it? Hang on. Oh, how you pronounce this meat? How you pronounce the meat? I think it's suadero.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a form of steak. It's really good.
What I do know is yeah, Elusive Traveler, man. It's a fucking dope record. It has a lot of meaning to it. You can interpret it in many ways, but it is. It's a fucking dude. I'm telling you, man. This new music we're working on, I'm like, I think about it all the time. Like, I know I got to be in the mood to like record stuff because I want it to be. I got to be like, it's almost like performing for like a game or something. Right? Like, you got to be in like that mode, and you know, but like besides that, being in like recording mode, I think about like our fucking album we're putting together and like the projects we have after. It's just there's so much shit, dude. This shit's hard, you know. Like the next single coming out is one of the dopest records. It's fucking sick. It's not even finished, not even fully written to, but it's fucking, it's hard, you know? And, you know, like if you only knew DDBN and then heard like these next two songs, one we put out and one we're going to put out, you'd be like, how is this the same artist? In all honesty, you know, different styles, but it's just, you know, it's still real shit. That's the thing. That's what I like about our music that we do is even if it's in a certain lane, there's a lot of thought to it. There's longevity there because of it has a purpose. Like it's thought out. Everything's thought out. Even if the track itself is simplistic from a music standpoint, doesn't matter. Everything serves a purpose. Everything has a purpose, and the writing will always be simpler than and will be more complex than fucking, you know, there'll be substance there. And there's nothing against
in some form of fashion. Form of fashion.
There's nothing against, you know, people who choose to not to add too much substance to their art. And I'm not trying to say we think we're better than people who don't. Nope, that's not the case. That's just us. That's what
substance
we like.
To the point substance to the point of like personal relevance. Because I don't want to take away from that. Like what might be deemed as lack of substance, that artist, that might be their like reality.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to like say this without shitting on that because there's a necessity for that music. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I'm not trying to knock anyone who does, you know, strictly club records like that or some because like you said, maybe that's their substance but there's a purpose for it too. Like there's a headspace for wanting to listen to something like that. So I'm not trying to say, oh, if you only do this, then you're blah. No, I don't care. I love all music. It's just when it comes to me personally, what I'm going to make, just know there's going to be an intention of thought behind it. You know what I mean? That's all. That's all I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. Excuse me again. These tacos, again, are phenomenal. They're great. With some Tostitos spicy queso. Unbelievable. But no, you're right. I think it started with DDBN actually, and that whole process of making those records. Because I remember again, not to backtrack too much, but when might have been heavily influenced with Chainsmokers, who are coming back. By the way, we'll talk about that later because I told you that was them. I told you it was them. And
then you found out that it wasn't. They were just pretending to be them, but yeah, go ahead.
Just pretending to be them. Yeah, no. Influence-wise, I think you would hit me and was just like, yo, I want to make music like this. And it was after we finished PPO, for sure, after Purposes Only, where we were, you know, making a bunch of reference records. And I just think, like, we both have reached a point where it wasn't for anybody else other than ourselves. And I think that's what DDBN kind of was, where, yeah, sure, sonically you can put it in a genre, but the process of creating was more for self than for someone else. And that's the same thing with like this project, like the process of the creation, like the creation process isn't, I gotta say this or I need it to sound like that. It's more just this is what I want to do.
Yeah, no, it's like when writing the hook, I haven't written one hook for this project thinking, oh, someone needs to like this because this will work. No. It's like we came from far away, won't get us to obey, hiding in the plain of sight, traveling in the dark of night, just saying shit because because you want to. You know what I mean? And I would sing hook of the other song we got coming out, but I don't want to. And when you hear that, you'll be like, you know, like that's it. Like everything's just different. The hook's different. And like on that, I know like we want to talk about E.T. I feel like we talked enough about it, but on the next single coming out soon, you know, it has hooks and then it has like another hook that's not like the other hook, but it is at the same time. So it's just cool. It's just kind of like, well, you have two different hooks on a record. Yeah, we have two different fucking hooks on a record. Like, fuck you. You can do whatever you want.
And a real story.
All
factual stories too. Bar for bar, pretty much, you know? But I think that's what kind of makes, you know, art. I think art is personal. Good art, at least, you know, whatever kind of art it is. I think good art, in a sense, is personal to the creator in some form or fashion. Because like art with substance at least draws from some real experience in some place. It might be fabricated, might be exaggerated, it might be enhanced. You know, what's the phrase they use in movies when they say like based on true events?
True events, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, you know, substantial art definitely has some type of reality intertwined into it. And I think that's just kind of the point that we just embarked on within the last year or so, in a sense of the way that we create. I mean, if you take it even back, you know, 10 years ago when we were making just beats, like were we making beats that we liked, or were we making beats that we wanted other people to like or thought that they liked? Like, let's make a beat for this person that sounds like this. You know what I mean? And so it's like now you reach a point in your creative process where it's just, this is for me. And what you produce out of that is, it feels like, you know, the best stuff you ever did, because there is no, again, and that's the embodiment of the single we put out. There is no outside influence to who you are. It's an awareness of self, which is why I think E.T. was ideal for the first single. I think the second single was great that we're about to put out. I'll go ahead and date it. What is it? The 13th. We're going to put it out in a month, February 14th. You know, and yeah, man, I'm excited. I can rant about it all day, but
that's what I'm saying. I could talk about it all day, dude. I can't think of the last time I felt that way about creating music. It's been like probably over 10 years, and it's crazy because the album Dark Days, Brighter Nights that I was super passionate about. Seriously, like I thought I was passionate about it, but the way I'm passionate about this project, and I just feel like we're on a
something feels different about it. Feels different.
Something feels different, man. That's what I'm saying.
Something feels different about it.
Something just feels like a click, you know?
For sure. Mm-hmm. And that might be because Dark Days, Brighter Night, like I said, you listen to that project, and obviously there's a genre you can put it in when it comes to the sonic and musical production. But this project just kind of feels more like, hey, you want to make a record like this? Yep.
Dude, no,
seriously. Hey, you want to make a record like that? Yep.
And you know, like, when the beat's made, it's not, oh, we need approval from like someone.
Yeah.
Like, no, I know this shit's hot. It works what I'm trying to do, and it's going to work, and that's it. I don't need anyone to tell me it's good or not. And someone's like, oh, that's arrogant. It's like, nah, dog. I believe in what I do. Because there was a point where I used to always be like, oh, this isn't good enough, or I need someone to like this, or I need this artist to use it so I know it's good. It's like, nope, it's fucking dope. And I know it's fucking dope. You know what I mean? And yeah, dude, just like, you know, we have some old reference records from like 5-6 years ago that the hooks are cool, and like we want to recreate the beat to kind of reuse the hook, and actually not recreate, make a whole new song, because you know, just because of the vibe, and so much potential, man. I'm telling you,
it's like, 5 years ago now, man. That's crazy. 6 years ago.
dude,
Unbelievable.
there's records on here. Like I'm telling you right now, I don't know what this record's gonna be called, but there's a record that we have in demo called Late, Late. I'm letting you know right now. I made that beat in front of two of my friends. They were sitting right next to me when I made that. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna make a track just like this. And I'll tell you, dude, for like about 30 minutes, I went through all my fucking samples to try to find this vocal sound so I can make like a vocal chop for the hook. And I was going through shit, and all of a sudden I stopped and I was playing with this sound, playing this pattern. And I just looked over the room like this. I said, got it. And they were just like, holy shit. I'm telling you right now, from like a beat aspect, it's one of like the best beats I think I've ever made, ever. Seriously, I'm telling you, dude, there's something special about that record. It's just the way the bass line comes in with that vocal chop and like the filter. Like when people hear that record, they're gonna fuck with it. It's gonna be hard. It's not even fully written to. Like I know you're gonna write something crazy to it. It's gonna be crazy. That's like a record I'm really looking forward to for sure.
Yeah, the sonic feel. I know what you're doing. Sonic feel evokes emotion. And anything, again, maybe this is just as of late, but anything for me, content-wise, that invokes some kind of emotion, I think has significance, because I think that's the purpose of art to begin with. Like, it's supposed to make you feel something. When you watch it, when you listen to it, you touch it, when you see it, art is supposed to, it's supposed to pull some type of emotion out of you.
Yeah,
and that record does that for sure.
It's supposed to touch you in some way, whether it's
some form of fashion.
Yeah, like a happy, sad, like challenge you, make like that's what I like about the Yeezus album. Like a lot of people wanted to listen to that to be an easy listen. First and foremost, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like anything else still to this day. And it's very harsh. It's very gritty. It's got arrogance to it, and it's awesome, and it sounds really good. And
think about that, that's 10 years ago.
Yeah, it sounds like nothing. Yeah, 10 years ago. Yep, going on.
Still sounds like nothing to this day.
11. Yeah, 10 years ago though. I think 2011.
11. Yeah.
Actually, it might have came out in 2013.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah, because did My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy might have
J. Cole and Wale's album Shine. J. Cole's Born Sinner and Shine all came out around the same time, those three albums.
Yeah. But no, you're right. I mean, and again, it's kind of, you place your own expectations on what you're expected to hear, and when it doesn't meet that, then that's kind of what you derive, that's kind of what you develop an opinion on and a perspective on. But that's a great point about that. It's just, and I can say this personally, it's not one of my like top tier favorite Kanye West albums, but there's a lot of emotion in that album, sonically, lyrically, and that's art. Like I've reached a point in my life where it's not so much that I need it to please me for me to accept it, and I think that's a space that not a lot of people reach. Like they want things to please them positively. Things can please me negatively in a sense, and that's kind of an oxymoron. It's not so much they please me, but it's the way that it, just kind of has an impact on me. It's art in a sense, and maybe it's because from a creative standpoint, I'm just more accepting of that. I don't know, but great point there. I can ramble all night. I know it's late where you're at. I'm gonna die on this hill though, and tell you that these tacos I just ate are the best tacos I've ever had. So if you're ever on the West Coast, if you ever find yourself in 707, say it backwards, Valley Joe, V-Town, Vallejo, that's what they, a whole bunch of different words.
Valley Joe, bro.
Taco truck on Broadway, get you some Suadero tacos. For some reason, my wife didn't put avocado on them. I don't know why. Usually get them with avocado, and they are phenomenal. I'm a downhill and say these are the best tacos I've ever had. Taco trucks might only be a California thing. I'm not sure. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's all I got.
So a few things. One, I'll give you my die on the hill, then we're going to end this on something. My die on the hill is a 180 from you, and you should accept that you're already everything you want to be. Embrace it. If there's something you always wanted to do, go do it. You're already great at it. You just have to accept that greatness, continue to practice at it. work every day. Write down your goals every day, say them, write down gratitude, things you're grateful for every day, and you will lead a better life dying on that hill.
That's great. Yeah, I'll add to that. Things take time. Doesn't happen overnight. Nothing great does.
Real quick, because this is major breaking freaking news. Chainsmokers are back. They're the best ever. I don't care if anyone says. I think these dudes hate the music industry, and I think they just know that they can't be kicked out because they're too good and they're too popular.
All right, yeah, I give you 5 minutes now. So when you sent me a little clip, we were in debate, kind of like the elevator in Vegas that goes straight up. When you sent me that clip,
I'll fight you right now. It doesn't. I'll fucking call the Luxor right now on speaker. You know what we're doing that next episode? I'll fucking call the Luxor. Those elevators go up at a fucking angle, dude. They don't go straight up. All right, continue. Chainsmokers, go. I'll fucking do it.
Because they go straight up. When you sent me the video, Chainsmokers, you were like, you can't just get paid actors to act as you. I was fully in belief that I'm just like, hey, you know, that's just who they are now. That's what they look like. Haven't seen them in like 2 years. Maybe they changed what they look like, you know? And they fully embody the fact that they look like, I mean, like, I don't even know what this statement means, but they do just look like regular 2 white guys in a sense. Like anybody could be, any 2 white guys could be Chainsmokers. So understanding that, when you see those faces, I'm like, yep, that's them. I'm not going to believe that it's not them. You know, like, I haven't seen them in 2 years. People change physically all the time. I think the way that they promoted the fact that they're back, in a sense, like, hey, the Chainsmokers are back. Like, yeah, the music industry embodied or tried to embrace the fact that we need 2 white guys to be the Chainsmokers, but realistically, not just anybody can do what they do. Great promotion, great marketing. It's fantastic because they do make really cool music. They make music with emotion. And, you know, they make popular music that is good. And I'm, you know, it should be exciting to see when did they put out Closer? 16, 15?
15, 16, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know statistically if they got a bigger hit. I know they got big records. I don't know if they got a bigger hit to date. But since they put out records, everybody knows their record. They might not know who they are. They might not even know what they look like. And honestly, I think that's the epitome of success. Because you can still go to Safeway and nobody found you. You can still go to Target. You can go to any event. You can walk outside your house with putting art out in the world that a lot of people love. And they love your art more than they love you. And I think that gets misconstrued when it comes to artistry and the music industry. People usually are more fond of the artist than they are just the art. And the Chainsmokers somehow figured out a way to make people more fond of their art in terms of the music than them. And that's like a sweet spot in the music industry. So It's really cool that they're going to put some new music out. And again, I think the way that they kind of just marketed the fact they're returning with music is great because it's important to highlight that not just anybody can do things that certain people do. And when other people tell you like, hey, anybody can do this, as an artist, you should take offense to that because as an artist, you're unique, you know.
That's a fact. And I will say real quick before we end this, I was convinced. I'm like, dude, they're really about to pay these dudes to like beat them. Like, I didn't think they were coming back. Like, I thought that they were just going to be in the background making their music, and these dudes were going to be them in the camera. And then when they did that little 3-minute video in the label, and those 2 guys were like, yeah, we can't be the Chainsmokers. You know, they were using the actual Chainsmokers were using the idea that like the joke that anyone can be them, like because you don't know who they are. They're the label calls them. They're like, hey, we need you back. And they're like, Chainsmokers are back. And then it ends. Yeah, I'm excited. I think, people can say whatever they want about their production, their songwriting, whatever. You want to hate on them. I'll tell you right now, they do try to push the bar musically. They do try to be creative. And the only other artist, there's two artists and now 3. There's 3 artists. Chainsmokers is one of them, but there's 2 other artists that I will rush to when I know they have new music to hear what it sounds like. It's Kanye West and John Bellion. Those are the only 3 artists that I actually know they're going to try to put out something that is not pushing the bar to just be like, oh, I'm a rebel, yeah. Yeah, no one's ever done that.
Yeah, for themselves.
Yeah, they're going to try to evolve their sound and who they are as artists. So, Chainsmokers. Can't wait.
Yeah, man.
All right.
That's great. Later.
Why can't we